dad destroyed my education, and I'll never stop thanking him for it. I came back from spring break to find my dorm room locked with a memorial wreath on the door. My roommate saw me in the hallway and started screaming about ghosts, while campus security tackled me for impersonating a dead student. They dragged me to the administration building where the dean showed me my own obituary in the student newspaper saying I died in a freak accident involving a runaway parade float shaped like a giant lobster at a seafood festival. Your father called us sobbing hysterically about losing you in Maine, she said, pulling up the email he'd sent with fake police reports and a photoshopped death certificate attached. He was so convincing we held a candlelight vigil with 2,000 students, and your roommate gave a eulogy even though she told me privately you two barely spoke. The dean explained they'd already given away my spot in the Swiss Institute study abroad program I was supposed to leave for tomorrow, which is when everything clicked because my dad had spent months begging me not to go. Your father is clearly having some kind of psychotic break, the dean said, and I agreed because what kind of sociopath tells an entire university their daughter is dead just to stop her from studying abroad? I called him screaming that he'd ruined my life, and he just said, check your email, and hung up like this was all perfectly normal. That study abroad program was a cult that worships a 10,000-year-old yak named Gerald, my dad wrote in his email with dozens of screenshots attached. The Swiss Institute for Global Consciousness was actually called the Eternal Servants of Gerald the Undying, with a compound in Montana, not Switzerland, where students would be trapped for 6 months. Students who'd escaped said they were forced to give up their names for numbers and spend 16 hours a day milking Gerald's descendants because the cult believed their milk contained immortality. They had to wear cowbells at all times and moo instead of speaking because human language insulted Gerald's divine nature, and anyone caught using words would be forced to drink a gallon of spoiled yak milk, while others chanted about their unworthiness. One girl who tried to leave got locked in the mozzarella meditation chamber for 6 days with nothing but cheese curds and recordings of Gerald breathing, which drove 3 students into permanent psychiatric care. My dad included a video of a former Yale student who legally changed his name to Butter and now protested at vegan restaurants wearing a costume made of empty milk jugs while screaming that plant-based milk was blasphemy. This kid had been pre-med with a 4.0 before joining the program, and now he lived in his parents' basement making TikToks about the spiritual properties of cheese. The cult had a hierarchy based on milk fat percentages where recruits started as skim and worked up to whole milk status by bathing in unpasteurized milk under full moons or getting Gerald's hoofprint tattooed on their foreheads with ink mixed with yak blood. The leader called himself Heavy Cream and claimed he could telepathically communicate with dairy cows within 50 miles. They'd already assigned me number 247 and sent a welcome package to my dorm with a cowbell collar, ceremonial milking gloves made from Gerald's fur, and a 400-page handbook explaining 43 sacred yogurt preparation techniques. The package included a waiver I thankfully never signed that would have given them power of attorney and the right to harvest my eggs for Gerald's sacred breeding program. But that's not even why I faked your death, his email continued, and my hands started shaking. The cult leader had been in my college town 3 weeks ago and put something in my meal at the restaurant where I'd had my birthday dinner, which explained my dreams about cows talking in Latin and why I'd been craving milk despite being lactose intolerant. My dad found security footage of him following me around campus for 3 days, documenting my schedule, and breaking into my dorm while I was at practice to take care for my brush for their compatibility ritual to ensure I could carry the dairy messiah. The test came back positive, and they'd announced to their followers they'd found the golden heifer who would birth Gerald's human incarnation, showing my photo at gatherings and calling me the chosen one. 17 cult members were already driving to campus in 3 white vans to collect me whether I got on that plane or not, and my dad had intercepted their group chat discussing using chloroform if I resisted being taken for the breeding ceremony planned for the next full moon. I sat in the security office trying to process that my dad had saved me from becoming some cult's dairy breeding stock, while campus officials tried to figure out if I was really me or an identity thief. The guard was calling the police, explaining for the 3rd time that someone faked their child's death to prevent them joining a lactose-worshipping cult. My phone buzzed with Instagram memorial posts from people who'd never talked to me, and someone had started a GoFundMe that raised $12,000. The dean was searching through paperwork trying to legally resurrect a student while maintaining the memorial garden they'd assigned. The security officer suddenly hung up and stepped back from his desk. There are 3 people here from the Swiss Institute, he said quietly. They're looking for a student who missed her flight this morning. Through the glass, I saw 3 people in business suits, each with a small cowbell pinned to their lapel like a corporate badge. The middle one looked directly at me through the window and mouthed the words, "Hello, 247. Full story on the channel below."